Babes, and welcome to day 4 of the 12 Days of Bookmas. For those that are new around here, my name's Rainy and I read all different types of books, so if you like that sort of thing, please like and subscribe to my channel down below. It really helps my channel grow. As you can tell, this video is a day late. I did not have time to film or edit it because my elementary winter show was last night and I'm the music director and I was in charge of it, and when that happens, my mind is going a mile a minute and I'm not thinking about this in particular. So, it's fine. We'll survive. We'll make it through. But I wanted to get started on filming this now because this is going to be one that is highly requested. I've gotten asked a couple of times to redo it since a year ago, and that is sharing my bookshelves, a little bookshelf tour, if you will. I have acquired a lot of books since I did a bookshelf tour about a year ago, and I'm very excited to share them. Now, I have an interesting way of storing my books because the books behind me are the ones that, like, I absolutely want to prioritize soon. And then I have a shelf over here that's like books I like, but I don't want to prioritize as much. And then I have books above my bookshelf that are like, I don't know when I'm ever going to get to those. And then I have my whole red bookshelf. So we have a lot to go through. No, I don't know how many books that is. I think it's like 700 or 800, honestly. It's a lot. So let's not dilly-dally and let's get to the books. Okay, friends, these are all the books that are sitting pretty above my bookshelf. They are books that I have no clue when I'm going to read yet. But they're there. So we're going to go through them very, very quickly. We have What Alice Forgot by Leanne Moriarty, The Power by Naomi Alderman, a Chuck Palahniuk book, I believe that's Invisible Monsters, Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, another Misery edition by Stephen King, Girl Forgotten and Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter, Sign Here by Claudia Lux, A Sliver of Darkness by C.J. Tudor, The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth, The Plot by Jean Hans Corlitz, Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng, The Therapist by B.A. Paris, The Drowning Kind by Jennifer McMahon, and Leave the World Behind. And so those are all like thrillers. Most of them. I tried to keep them lumped together. And then up here we have It by Stephen King, Girl in the Reflection by Monica Aria, The Chalk Man by C.J. Tudor, Yes Daddy by Jonathan Park Fromage, The Last Flight by Julie Clark, Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesare, Within These Walls, Anya Alborn, You, Caroline Kepnes, Sawkill Girls, The Chain, Adrian McKinty, The Bell Jar, Sylvia Plath, The Winter People, Jennifer McMahon, The Other Mrs., Mary Kubica, Broken by Karen Slaughter, and Blindsided, because those are part of the Will Trent series, I believe, The Truth About Melody Brown by Lisa Jewell, and Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. Then we have Pet Sematary by Stephen King, The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn, The Wrong Number by R.L. Stein, Mostly Dead Things by Kristen Arnett, The Chosen and the Beautiful by Neve Vo, Such a Fun Age, Kylie Reed, Vladimir by Julia May Jones, The Final Revival of Opal and Nev by Donnie Walton, The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn, Fates and Furies by Lauren Groff, Siren Queen by Neve Vo, Florida Woman by Deb Rogers, My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell, False Witness by Karen Slaughter, The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin, and Severance by Ling Ma. Then we have this fun picture that my mom got me, actually. It's of Belle, because she's one of my favorite Disney princesses, reading and getting a tattoo, living her best life. And then we have The Lighthouse Witches by C.J. Cook, The Whisper Network by Chandler Baker, Cinder, Scarlet, and Crest and Winter by Stephanie, whatever her name is, Melissa Meyer, because my mom wants me to read those because she's obsessed with that series. We have Hench, we have Firekeeper's Daughter, we have Long Bright River by Liz Moore, Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey, To Paradise by Hanya Yanagihara, and Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. So these are all the books that, yeah, I have no idea when I'm going to read these, but I do want to read them one day, hence why I didn't unhaul them the other day. So the angle is a little interesting because this is as high as my stand will go, so I have it angled up, but we will make do with it. Okay, so this is my first shelf, and this is kind of like my YA section for like series, except for like one book because I just wanted it sitting out there. So anyway, let's go through it. We have The Grace Year by Kim Liggett, which I have been wanting to read for forever, and I know that's not part of a series, but like I did split my YAs up. It just ended up here. Then I have the entire Maureen Johnson Truly Devious series. The only reason the first book isn't there is because I just read it for a wrap-up, and so it's on my wrap-up shelf. And then I have the whole Raven Boy series by Maggie Stiefvater, which I've been wanting to read. And then I have the Cruel Prince trilogy with the Queen of Nothing at the bottom because it's a hardcover edition. This is my sister Breeze's collection for the Cruel Prince, and I just haven't bought my own copies yet, so I'm taking hers. And then we have the Lore and Lust series by Carla Nicoli, which I believe it's like a sapphic vampire thing. I'm not 100% sure on that. I have Yoke by Mary H.K. Choi because I want to read that really soon. I have Loveless by Alice Oseman because I'm obsessed with her. And then I'm going to move that book, but Never by Jessa Hastings, which I'm very excited about because this is her new Peter Pan retelling, which if you don't know who she is the person that wrote the Magnolia Parks universe, and I'm obsessed with her, although I need to buy the hardcover edition because I thought I had when I pre-ordered it, and I hadn't, and it has the Peter Pan map on the inside, and I need that in my life. With that, we have The Diviners, the first 2 books in the series. We have the Six of Crows duology, which is in its little shelf casing. That is also my sister Breeze's. And then we have the first 3 volumes of Heartstopper, which I haven't gotten volume 4 yet, and I need to get volume 5 because I know that that's coming out very soon. So that is the first shelf. Okay, then the next shelf we have is also kind of like YA, but a little bit of my dark romance because it's going to start pouring over in a minute. We have the Legendborn duology by Tracy Dion, which I have not read yet. I do want to get to. We have the Caraval trilogy by Stephanie Garber, which I have read. Absolutely loved it. I'm currently in the middle of her other one, the Once Upon a Broken Heart series now. We have the first 2 books in the Veronica Speedwell series, A Curious Beginning and A Perilous Undertaking, just because I did read the first one. And I didn't love it as much as I thought I would, but I think it was just the wrong time, and everyone says I should keep going, so I got the first 2 books. Then I have Fable and Namesake by Adrienne Young, which I absolutely love them, displayed like this. Like, that is just gorgeous to me. And then we have my Song of Achilles cup, which I actually hated the book Song of Achilles, but I love the cup, so I will keep it. It just has little pins and stuff that I have collected over the years. And then we have Hopeless by Elsie Silver, because it didn't fit with the rest of its series, because I did collect the Mirrors editions and the People editions, so we're just going to keep it there for now. But it was covering up the 5-book bind-up of the Mind F series by S.T. Abbey, and then right next to that is the Book of Azrael by Amber Nicole, and then Den of Vipers by K.A. Knight. So that is like the beginning of my dark romance section, and so I'm going to pop this back where it belongs. And that's that shelf. Okay, the next section we have is like half romance, half dark romance, but like the black covers, because I just was vibing for that, except for the one white one at the top. So we have Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton, which I really do want to read super soon. I have King in Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair, and A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair, and I haven't read either of those yet. I have the beginning of the Neon Gods series, so we have Neon Gods, Electric Idol, and Wicked Beauty, and I just haven't gone to any of those yet, but I want to soon. We have the second book in Her Soul for Revenge by Harley LaRue. I haven't gotten Her Soul to take. This was on sale at like a thrift store for $3, so I just bought it. I'm planning on buying the first one soon so I can actually read it. We have Hellfire by Mariel Pomeroy and Tricky Magic by L.L. Campbell, which I am very excited to get to at some point. We have My Crown Jewels, the Magnolia Parks universe, and I can't wait for the final Magnolia and BJ one to come out in February, but like, I really am obsessed with the Magnolia Parks series, as you can tell, because like, this is my beautiful, beautiful edition, and I have annotated the heck out of these. Like, I'm absolutely obsessed with these books. They are anything and everything to me, and so I will always have a special place in my heart for the Magnolia Parks series. Then we have the people covers and the mirror covers of the entire Chestnut Springs series by Elsie Silver. So for example, like I was talking earlier, this is the people cover for Hopeless, and then I also own the mirror cover for each one. And do I need both? No. Did I want both? Yes. And they were going out of print because Bloom has picked up her series, and so I wanted to make sure that I owned all of them. And so I'm very happy to have those sitting pretty on my shelf. I do wish that they all fit together, but sometimes you can't always get what you want, is what I have learned. So the next one we have is my thriller shelf. Are these thrillers that I really want to read super soon. And so I'm just going to go in order, and we're just going to speed through this real quick. I have The Last Invitation by Darby Kane, Suburban Hell by Maureen Kilmer, The Girl in 6E by A.R. Torre, The Last Mrs. Parrish by Liv Constantine, Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, Horseman by Christina Henry, The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. Those are the paperbacks on the top. And underneath them, I have a couple of Megan Golden books. I have The Night Swim, Dark Corners, and Stay Awake. I have a couple Megan Mirandas, The Only Survivors, and The Last to Vanish. I have The Swell by Ali Reynolds, that I have For Better and Worse by Margot Hunt. And then these hardcover section in the middle, I have Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica, All the Dangerous Things, Stacey Willingham, The Last House on Needless Street, Catriona Ward, Mary by Nate Cassidy, Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Iamide, which I probably butchered, sorry for that. The Hacienda by Isabella Cañas, Gin Phillips, The Fierce Kingdom, The Collective by Alison Galen. I have Stephen King with Misery. I have A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. Little Eve by Catriona Ward, which now that I realize that, I should put those together. La Plana by Otessa Moshfeh. The Last Thing You Told Me by Laura Dave. Two Truths and a Lie by Meg Mitchell-Moore. And Take It Back by Kia Abdullah. And the thing with these thrillers, before I finish the last couple, is a lot of these books I purchased back when they came out and I didn't get to them. I also am going through like a wanting to read romance and fantasy phase, and I don't always reach for thrillers anymore, but I know I'll be back to them one day. They are my tried and true love. I have The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, We Were Never Here by Andrea Bartz, The Secret History by Donna Tartt, The First Day of Spring by Nancy Tucker, Hostage by Claire McIntosh, a couple of Lisa Jewell ones, Invisible Girl and Watching You, and then we have Kill Creek by Scott Thomas and Slewfoot by Brom. And then we have my little skeleton decor that I got on a family reunion a couple of years back. And so that is my fun little thriller section. My stand doesn't get small enough to go to the bottom, so I'm just going to hold it and try my very best to not move as much as I can. So this is like my contemporary fiction shelf, honestly, and it's just kind of a hodgepodge of stuff. So I'm going to go from the top, so I have to actually look at what book that is. Okay, that is The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry by Gabrielle Zentz. I think the one that wrote Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow. Then we have The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich, Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt, The Death of Vivek Oj by Akwaeke Emezi, which I really want to read that soon because, like, I read You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty and loved it. The Betty by Tiffany McDaniel, we have Split Tooth by Tanya Chagak, The Overstory by Richard Powers, The People We Keep by Allison Larkin. I have a couple of Jodi Picoult. Those are basically the only ones I haven't read yet, and yes, I am obsessed with her. She's my favorite author. So we have Spark of Light, Small Great Things, Wish You Were Here, Mad Honey, and Lone Wolf. So I really hope to get to those this year. Then we also have Chouette by Claire Oshtetski, Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, another Jodi Picoult, The Book of Two Ways, Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. We have one Kristen Hanna for now. The Great Alone, A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. We have the first 2 books in the Beartown series by Frederick Bachman, so Beartown and Us Against You. We have Circe by Madeline Miller, but I'm probably going to get rid of that because I hated Song of Achilles, and everyone says if I hated that, I'm not going to enjoy my time with this. We have On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong, We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Barry, Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellors, and Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. And so that is like my contemporary / like sad girl lit fic shelf that I have the best time with. Moving on to the middle. This shelf has honestly stayed the same since I've had it. I have not changed this shelf. This is my vampire romance / one other series shelf. So I have Twilight. I have the whole series. I have Twilight. I have the special 10th anniversary edition. So it also has Life and Death Twilight Reimagined, which is where it changes the roles of Bella and Edward. So I think it's like Beau and Edith or something like that. Have not read it. I have Midnight Sun, which I haven't read yet. New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn. Okay? The whole family is there. They're there. They're living, they're thriving, their best lives. And we have the Crave series by Tracy Wolff, which I've heard is like kind of like a parody / knockoff of Twilight. And so we have Crave, Crush, Covet, and Court. I have the first 4 books in that series. Then we have the Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Carrie Maniscalco with Stalking Jack the Ripper, Hunting Prince Dracula, Escaping from Houdini, and Capturing the Devil. And then above that, I also have The Ravens by Morgan Page because it didn't fit anywhere else. I don't have the second book in that duology yet, but like this shelf has really stayed tried and true the whole time I've owned it. I haven't changed much there. Now this is a shelf that I absolutely love. This is my special edition of Gothicana by Runix, and I am very obsessed with it. I love it. It came with a bunch of different cards for like the characters. It came with that little pot that says Brewed in Barrymore. It came with socks. It came with a tote bag. It came with bookmarks. It came with all the stuff. And I do have other books behind there. I think the books that are holding it up is like Series of Unfortunate Events series and Chronicles of Narnia. Although I think I have 1 or 2 books back there. I'll probably move them in a minute just to see what I also have back there. But honestly, the books that are back there because I don't want them. Oh, it also came with tarot cards. But like, just look at this alone. Like, this is beautiful. She is the moment. It has black sprayed edges. The inside is absolutely gorgeous. Like, oh my goodness. Like, can you not? I'm just very obsessed with the special edition. And so I'm very glad that I own that. Have I read this book yet? No. But I wanted it, okay? I wanted it. Don't judge me. I wanted it. So I'm very excited to have it. I'm sure I'm going to love it. I really wanted it. Okay. Up next, this is like my beginning of my dark romance journey, and it is really, honestly, a Sophie Lark dedication, if we're being honest. Because I have the entire Kingmaker series over there, which I did get all the original covers for this, and I'm so happy that I did. So I have The Heir, The Bully, The Spy, The Savage, and The Rebel, and that is her Kingmaker series. And then behind this beautiful man, which this is the current book that I'm on for the Brutal Birthright series, which is why he's hanging out. There's Dante, just living his best life. This is Bloody Heart. This is the 4th book. I have the Brutal Birthright series. So I have Brutal Prince, Stolen Heir, Savage Lover, Bloody Heart, Heavy Crown, and Broken Vow. And then I have her There Are No Saints duet. So There Are No Saints and There's No Devil. And then that is all the Sophie Lark that I have so far. I know she has a couple other standalones I just haven't gotten to yet. And then I have the rest of my Brunix ones. So I have the first 3 books in the Darkverse series, The Predator, The Reaper, and The Emperor. And then I also have the traditionally published version of, or the indie version published of Gothicana. So I had that before I had the special edition. So I keep it up here so that I don't lose it. And I very much appreciate and love it. Then I also have a couple Penelope Douglases. So I have Birthday Girl and Credence. Haven't read either of those yet. I did read Punk 57 for the first time the other day and did not love that. But I've heard nothing but good stuff about that. I have the beginning of Devney Perry's Eden's series. So I have the little prequel, which is Christmas in Quincy, Indigo Ridge, Juniper Hill, Garnet Flats, and Jasper Vale. I don't have the Crimson one or the Sable Peak one yet. Those are the only ones I'm missing. But I read Indigo Ridge for 72 Hours in the Smut Den a couple months back and I absolutely loved it, so I'm excited to read that. And then I have Severed in Vengeance by L. Maldonado, which this was a Probably Smut Book Club special edition cover, so you can't get this anywhere else. I will say this is the only time that I liked the actual cover of a book better than this. Like, this is fine. Like, it's pretty and all, but, like, it's not as pretty as the actual cover. So if you've never heard of this book, go look it up on Goodreads, and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. This next shelf is more of my dark romance section slash, like, just, I guess, more mafia, like, I don't know, the harder romance, I guess I will say. And so we'll start at the top. I have two LJ Shens, but I only have one over here because I really want to read this one soon. The Devil Wears Black by LJ Shen. I have Unconditional by Hubie Tyler. All Roads Lead Here, and Wall of Winnipeg by Mariana Zapata, The Slow Burn Queen. I want to get to those super soon. Underneath it, I have Scarred by Emily McIntyre. I read Hooked, absolutely loved it, so I can't wait to continue on with the series. Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma. Pestilence by Laura Thalassa. Take Me With You by Nina C. Jones. What Was Meant to Be and Keep Her Safe by Hubie Tyler. And those are all signed editions that I'm very special and happy to have on my shelves. And I also do have two books in the, I don't know what the name of the series is, but The Do-Over and The Stopover by T.L. Swan. I do want to read that series eventually. And then I do have two special editions of Until I Get You by Claire Contreras and Black Ties and White Lies by Kat Singleton. So this is the Until I Get You special edition by Claire Contreras, which apparently is like a hockey romance. I love you more than I hate anything. I'm very happy to own this on my shelves. We also have the Black Ties and White Lies by Kat Singleton. It says, When or Why Aren't You Mine Yet? And I very much like these. They're very pretty. I'm glad that I have those. I forgot to mention I got those special editions from Rachel on Fit Teacher Rachel. She does collabs with authors all of the time, and so I get a lot of the collabs that she does. Then we have Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. I don't have the second one in the series yet. It is on my list to get soon. I have the Ravenhood trilogy by Kate Stewart, Flock, Exodus, and The Finish Line. And yes, I'm in the middle of Exodus, and I have not finished yet. I know, that is shaming to say. And then I have the entire Corrupt series by Penelope Douglas. So Corrupt, Hideaway, Conclave, Fire Night, Kill Switch, and Nightfall. And they are the original covers, and I'm so glad that I was able to hunt those down and found most of those at a thrift shop randomly all together, and I was living my best life, quite honestly. And we have Salt Kiss by Sierra Simone, which my friend Kelly just sent me. I was very happy to get that from her. That was really, really awesome. And then I have the entire original covers for Priest by Sierra Simone. So we have Priest, Midnight Mass, Sinner, and Saint. And that was a journey. Trying to get those. That was a journey, that's all I'm going to say. And then we have the beginning of the Salacious Player Club series by Sarah Kate. We have Praise, Eyes on Me, Give Me More, and Mercy. And if you look a little closer, the Eyes on Me one looks a little bit different, right? Right. There's a reason for that, and I'm not going to take it out right now, but that is in German. Why did I get it in German, you ask? Because I wanted the covers to match. I wanted the person cover, and nobody is selling the original cover for Eyes on Me for less than like $200, $300. And I'm not going to waste that much on a book. But I will spend $50 on a book. I will, if I really wanted the book, and I wanted them all to match. So I have read Eyes on Me on Kindle, but I own the German edition. So unless I ever learn German, I'll never be able to read it. And yeah, I know you're probably laughing at me, but you know what? I'm happy it's there. And then we have the entire Broken Bonds series by Jay Breeze. We have Broken Bonds, Savage Bonds, Blood Bonds, Force Bonds, Tragic Bonds, and Unbroken Bonds. Do I know if I'm going to like this series? No. Did I buy all of them because they were all together at a bookstore for like 20 bucks? Yes, I did. I am notorious at that. You can always count on me to do. And then once again, we have my contemporary light romance section. And so we'll start with The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston, which I'm very excited that I have on my shelves. We have Wildfire by Hannah Grace, which is a special edition from Probably Smut Book Club. Special edition right there, and I absolutely love it. I'm very happy that I have it on my shelf. Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score, You Again by Kate Goldbeck, and The Resurrection of Wildflowers by Michaela Smeltzer. And then we have the original covers for the Binding 13 series by Chloe Walsh. So we have Binding 13, Keeping 13, Saving 6, and Redeeming 6. And I am waiting for the new one, I think Taking 6 or something to come out soon. Do I think that these covers are beautiful? No. Did I want the original covers anyway? Yes. Did I hear that they're not making the original cover for the 5th book and I want to cry myself to sleep at night? Also yes. All of these things can be true. Then we have Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt, We Do What We Do in the Dark by Michelle Hart, Pack Up the Moon by Kristen Higgins, Underneath the Sycamore Tree by B. Celeste, Wild at Heart by K.A. Tucker. I read The Simple Wild last year, and it's one of my favorites. From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata, which that probably should go up with the other one, but It's fine. I'm learning things as I go. Lotus by Jennifer Hartman. I read Still Beating by her, and these books are interconnected, so I'm super excited to get to that. And then we have a bunch of Taylor Jenkins Reid because I am obsessed with her. But before we get to her, we have Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie, which I do want to start that series soon. We have One True Love, Forever Interrupted, and After I Do. Those are the only books by TJR that I haven't read yet. She is one of my favorite authors, of course. We have Twisted Games by Anna Huang. I did not love Twisted Love, but I am excited to continue on because I've heard this book is much better, and it was a bodyguard romance, which I do typically like. We have Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon, Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren and the Unhoneymooners. We have the first two books in the Abby Jimenez, her first series, so The Friend Zone and the Happy Ever After playlist. And I did realize that Abby Jimenez is an author I really, really enjoy because I just read Part of Your World and Yours Truly, so I do want to get to those sooner than later. Then we have the Eve Sisters trilogy with Get a Life, Chloe Brown, Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. I've only read Get a Life, and I didn't love it. It was a 3-star, but everyone says that Danny and Eve are better, so I'm gonna believe them. We have It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover, November 9th, and Ugly Love, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to prioritize those as much as I used to because I'm not really a co-host Stan anymore, so we'll see if I ever actually get to those. Alright friends, so next we're getting to basically all fantasy from here on out. Fantasy and romance, like this whole entire section. And this is one of my favorite shelves because this has some of my favorite books on here. So on top, though, I do have The High Mountain Court by A.K. Mulford, which I haven't read yet, and Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, which I also haven't read yet. We have the beginning of the From Blood and Ash series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So we have From Blood and Ash, A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, and The Crown of Gilded Bones. And I've only read the first one, but I really did enjoy it. So I do want to prioritize those this year, especially if I'm going to be trying to read romantasy for next year. Then we have my favorite book of the year, The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Miss Carissa Broadbent. We also have Six Scorched Roses. We have The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. We have Daughter of No Worlds. We have Children of Fallen Gods. I have almost all of her books that are out, but not quite yet. I loved Serpent of the Night, and I'm so excited because I'm getting page overlays for Christmas that are going to go in my book, and it's going to be my best life. Daughter of No Worlds is also, I haven't annotated Serpent and the Wings of Yet Night, but I did a great job with the annotations in this book. I'm just very proud of this, and I'm very accomplished at this, and so this is when I really started my annotation journey, and so I'm very happy with how that came out. And then I also have Fourth Wing, of course, the sprayed editions cover. I do have Iron Flame as well, right here, the sprayed editions one, but I don't have anywhere to place it just yet. And then I have Jade City, Jade War, and Jade Legacy, one of my favorite fantasy series in like the entire world. I love it so very much. And then I have this special edition of The Scarlet Alchemist by Kylie Lee Baker from Fairy Loot, and it is just gorgeous, like just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, just look at the sprayed edges alone. Like, I'm very excited to read this. I haven't read anything else by Kylie Baker, but I'm excited to get to that soon. And then behind Iron Flame, we have Blood Mercy by Vila Roth. And then we have the very special edition of The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, I believe, which I also have never read, but it is beautiful, and I want to get to it soon. And everybody says, like, if you're going to be a real fantasy girly, you have to have read that. And so they had the, like, 20-year edition or something, and I decided to buy it, so one day I will make that journey to read it. Then we have my Sarah J. Maas shelf, and I got into Sarah J. Maas pretty late in the game, so I am not one of those girlies that has like the Illuminate versions and the Fairy Loot versions and all of that. Am I trying to get those? Yes, because I am obsessed with these series. I'm in the middle of the Throne of Glass series right now. I'm reading Crown of Midnight, but I have the entire one, so Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, and Kingdom of Ash. I do also have Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood, and House of Sky and Breath, and they are not matching because when the original book came out, the paperback edition wasn't coming out for HOSAB, and I wanted it, so I bought it from the UK. And that was my first mistake, because they are not the same, and it actually really bothers me, and I annotated the first one, so I don't know what I'm doing with my life quite yet there. And then I do have the original People covers for A Court of Thorns and Roses. However, they're my sister's, and she did say I could buy them off her, but she's not selling them for cheap. So for now, they're just on my shelf sitting pretty. But like, when I say the People covers, I do mean the ones that look like that I absolutely love. So I have A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Wings and Ruin, and A Court of Frost and Starlight. They didn't do a People cover for Nesta's, I believe, A Court of Silver Flames, which I don't actually have yet. And I haven't read past A Court of Thorns and Roses. So, yeah, I know you're probably judging me, but it's fine. I'll be fine. We'll survive. Then we have some more fantasy romance that I really want to get to soon. So over here we have the beginning of the Zodiac Academy. So we have Origins of an Academy Bully, the book number 1, The Awakening, book 2, Ruthless Fae, and book 3, The Reckoning. And I've only read the prequel and book 1, so I do want to get to the rest of it soon. I have A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair and Vespertine by Maggie Robertson, which I do want to get to very soon as well. Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer, and I do have the red sprayed edges one, so I'm happy that I was able to get that. I have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. Honestly, this shelf is books that I need to read sooner than later because I want to read every single book on this shelf like oh so badly. I have the first 2 books in A Fate of Wrath and Flame by K.A. Tucker and A Curse of Blood and Stone. I have Dark Knight, Golden Dawn by Alison Carr Wachter, which this is actually a special edition of this book. I'm not going to pull it out now though because it's damaged. Like, I didn't realize it was a special edition when I bought it, but it was like $5 on Pango. And then when it got here, the spine was completely detached. And so I ended up getting it for free. But it's a very pretty special edition. But I can't get the other special editions because it's from some weird bookish box like Fox and Wit or something like that. Then I have A Promise of Fire by Amanda Boucher, The Bridge Kingdom and the Traitor Queen by Danielle L. Jensen. We have Air Awakens and Deal with the Elf King by Elise Kova, which are 2 separate series of hers. And then we have the first book in Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. Then we also have One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake, which I want to read because it's like a weird fantasy Romeo and Juliet retelling, which I'm totally here for. And then we have Zara, which I really love. It is also a Fairy Loot edition. And it's very pretty. It's the first book in the Guardians of the Dawn series, and I've heard that it is like Sailor Moon-esque, which Sailor Moon was my favorite show growing up, so I cannot wait to dive into that soon. We have Heavenly Bodies by Imani Ariu, The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramis, The Trial of the Sun Queen by Nisha J. Tooley, and then we have The Priory of the Orange Tree by Miss Samantha Shannon. I have not gotten the prequel yet because it's like 1,000 pages long and I don't know when I'm prioritizing it, and I want to wait for the paperback edition to come out, but these are all girly pops that I really want to get to soon. Okay, this is yet again more fantasy romance and stuff. So we have A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden, which I am reading this month for the Who Did This To You book club run by Tori from Tori Between Pages. I have European Travel for the Monstrous Gentlewoman by Theodora Goss, which is the sequel to The Strange Case of the Alchemist, the Daughter or something like that, which is on my TBR cart right now. We have The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake, which I do want to read. We have The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah, which that is a Illumicrate edition, so I'm pretty sure it has purple sprayed edges. It's just hiding right now. Book of Night by Holly Black. That is also the Illumicrate edition, so it has black sprayed edges. I have not prioritized it because I've heard terrible things about it, but I do own it. The Change by Kirsten Miller. Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. Babel by R.F. Kwong. And then Ninth House and Hellbent by Lee Bardugo, which I did soft DNF Ninth House this year, but I'm still holding on to it because I do really still want it. We have Fireborn, which is the first book in the trilogy in the Dragon series that I really do want to read soon. We have Vicious by V.E. Schwab, which I also soft DNF'd this year, but I will read it again at the right time. We have the first book in A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, and we do have the old covers, so I need to prioritize getting the rest of the old covers ASAP before like people start selling them for like, you know, outlandish prices. We have Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, which goes with Vicious, so I need to switch those around, and that's a signed edition that I found in my thrift store for like $6. We have Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune and Piranesi by Susanna Clark. And then up here, we also have The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic by Brianne Randall, which I didn't get to this October, so I'm going to save it for next October. We have Threaded by Tay Rose. That is the first book that I got as my Probably Smut book club, and it was not a special edition. It's just the original cover, but I was very excited to have joined then. And we have Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, which I haven't gotten to yet. And then we get down here, and we have a bunch of my special editions. So the first one we have is The Forest Grimm by Catherine Purdy, and that is just beautiful. That spine alone is gorgeous. I'm so happy to have it on my shelf. This is the front in all of its glory. I mean, look. The end pages are beautiful. The cover is beautiful. I'm just like, this is one of the most gorgeous books that I own, and I really hope that I really enjoy it. I also have This Woven Kingdom by Tahara Mafi, which is the first book that I got in Illumicrate, and they are on the third book, and I missed getting the second book because, like, I just didn't get it, and so I'm not going to have them all match, but, like, this is very pretty. Like, I do love having it. We have the UK editions of the Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber because they are so much prettier than the US versions, and I'm so excited because I just got my hands on the Fairy Loot ones, and they're coming to me in like February. So we have Once Upon a Broken Heart, The Ballad of Never After. We have A Curse for True Love, however it is not right next to its brethren, and I don't know where it went. I kind of need to prioritize finding that because if I lost that I'm going to be very sad because I'm going to have to buy another edition, but it's fine, everything's fine. And then we also have The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O, which honestly, I don't know if I'm ever going to read this book, but it's honestly too beautiful to let go of. Like, I mean, that's just beautiful, and so I don't know if I can, in my heart of hearts, honestly let that book go in good conscience. Then we have The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzin, which I want to read, and then I believe that is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross, which I also missed out on the Illumicrate edition of getting the second book in the series, so I'm going to have to look out for it because I do want to own it because, like, that again, very beautiful. Then we have Powerless by Roland Roberts, She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan, and then we have Encyclopedia of Fairies by Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. And so with that, this is a shelf that I am very, very obsessed with. Okay, then up next we have my Cassandra Clare section with a couple of other books thrown in, if we're being honest. So up top we have The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow, and then we have Wild as the Witch and The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin, and I'm obsessed with her. I absolutely loved Bring Me Your Midnight. I can't wait to prioritize those next year for sure. And then we have as many of the books of Cassandra Clare that I have so far. So I have the first 3 books in the Mortal Instruments one, so I have, or the first 4 actually. City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, and City of Fallen Angels. Then I have all 3 of the Clockwork books, so Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess. I have Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. I have the Darkest Hours trilogy, so Lady Midnight, Lord of the Shadows, and Queen of Air and Darkness. And then I also have the Bane Chronicles. And I'm collecting the rest of them still. Up above them, I have The Foxglove King by Hannah Witten and Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. And then I have Project Hail Mary by Andy Ware, The Bone Season and the Mime Order by Samantha Shannon, and then the first book in the Nevernight series by Jay Kristoff. And so this is that shelf. And we have my TBR cart, which is where I put books that I'm currently in the middle of, and I'm in the middle of a lot of them right now. So I have The Lost World by Michael Crichton, Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score, Final Offer by Lauren Asher, King of Wrath by Anna Wong, Little Thieves by Margaret Owen, The Soulmate Equation, Christina Lauren, Red Rising by Pierce Brown, The Fear of the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling, Two Wrongs Make a Right by Chloe Leese, The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna, Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I'm actually not in the middle of As I Disappear by Eliza Jane Brazier, but I haven't moved it back yet, so I'll move that in a minute. And then behind it, I also have The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss and Sharkheart by Emily Habak. And so those are all books that are there. I am reading a lot more books currently than just the ones that you see on this TBR cart. However, those are the only ones that actually made it to the cart. And then really quickly, I'm going to show you this shelf. So this is all the books that I want to read soon that were not huge priorities, but they're more priorities than the ones that were on the top of the shelf. So let's first show you. This is my current library book section of books that I'm borrowing. And as you can tell, a lot of them were for the Romance Goodreads Choice Awards, which the winners were announced today, so I need to look at that. But these are all those. And then I have my Harry Potter section and a bunch of notebooks and other stuff. So that is this top section. Then we have, which I still tried to organize it and keep it by genre at least, we have my thriller section. So if we look up top, we have The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher, Pen Pal by Dathan Auerbach, and You've Lost a Lot of Blood by Eric LaRocca. And then we have all my Riley Sagers. So The Last Time I Lied, House Across the Lake, Survive the Night, Home Before Dark, Final Girls, Lock Every Door, and The Only Ones Left. I've only read his most recent 3, so The Only One Left, which I absolutely loved, 5-starred, and then Survive the Night and House Across the Lake, which I each gave 2 stars. So I need to read the rest of them. And we have my Alice Feeney series, because I do love her. We have His and Hers, I Know Who You Are, Sometimes I Lie. I've read Rock, Paper, Scissors by her, and Daisy Darker, and Good Bad Girl, and I think I 4- and 5-starred all of those, so she's becoming a favorite author for sure. We have Elisa Jewell, The Family Upstairs and The Family Remains, that little series that I haven't read yet. We have White Horse by Erica T. Worth. We have Night Film by Marisha Pessl, which I really, really want to read. And then we have No Exit by Taylor Adams, which I have not read yet. Then we have another Eric LaRocca. We have We Can Never Leave This Place. We have A Certain Hunger by Chelsea Summers. The Best of Friends by Lucinda Berry, who I love what she writes, so I need to read more soon. I have The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. Behind Her Eyes, Sarah Pinborough. Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Kane. Luckiest Girl Alive, Jessica Knoll. Playing Nice by J.P. Delaney. The Husbands by Chandler Baker. Layla by Colleen Hoover. As Good as Dead, Good Girl Bad Blood, and A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I need to read that series ASAP. I do know I'm behind in the times. And Below, which is a fun little horror novella. And so these are books that I still do want to read. I just, I have too many books. Then we have Horror Store by Grady Hendrix, Magpie by Elizabeth Day, No One Can Know by Kate Alice Marshall, which is her new book that just came out, The Whisper Man and the Shadows by Alex North, You Love Me by Caroline Kepnes, Happiness Falls by Angie Kim, which I really, really want to get to soon because she does good autism rep, and I have 2 severely disabled brothers, so I do want to read that. Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas, The Arrangement by Robin Harding, A Best of Exorcism by Grady Hendrix, White Smoke by Tiffany G. Jackson, The Party by Robin Harding, and Survivor by J. F. Gonzalez. Then we also have more romance. This is where we segue into romance. And we have The Deal and the Mistake by Elle Kennedy, Written in the Stars by Alexandria Bellafleur, Do I Know You by Emily Wibberley and Austin Seekman Broca, Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson, Georgie All Along by Kate Claiborne, The Pisces by Melissa Broder, Felix Ever After by Kaysen Callender, Out of Love by Hazel Hayes, My Killer Vacation, Tessa Bailey, The Charm Offensive, Alison Cochran, Milk Fed by Melissa Broder. We have one thriller book over there, The Shuddering by Anya Allborn. And then we have What Might Have Been by Holly Miller, Just by Looking at Him, Ryan O'Connell, Christina Lauren's The True Love Experiment, Love on the Brain by Allie Hazelwood, Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochran, which I am reading this month, and Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. Then we get to contemporary / honestly, it just gets kind of random from here. And we have One Italian Summer, The Dinner List, and In 5 Years by Rebecca Surley, which I do want to read all those soon. We have Pachinko by Min Jin Lee, Ruthless Rivals, which is the first book in a Mafia series, I believe, by L.J. Shem. The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. Conversations with Friends and Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. As you can tell, Normal People is missing because I sold that bitch. I hated it so much. Breasts and Eggs by Mieko Kawakami. Purity by Jonathan Franzen. Golden Boy, Memphis by Tara M. Stringfellow. Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. Nettle and Bone, T. Kingfisher. Lost in the Neverwoods by Aidan Thomas. Sorrowland by River Solomon. The first book in the Senlin Ascends Like Babel trilogy by Josiah Bancroft. Maximum Ride by James Patterson, because I was planning on doing a rereading childhood favorites series video soon. Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. The Book of Gothel by Barry McMine. These Violent Delights, I only have the first one, by Chloe Gong. Kaikei by Vaishnavi Patel, and The Lovely War by Juliet Berry. And so I still just want to read all these books. I promise I do. Then my last shelf down here has some of my manga. So I have the first Fruits Basket by Natsuki Takaya. I have the first and second Spy Family by Tatsuya Endo. I have Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Una Out of Order. I have The Traveling Cat Chronicles, which looks so cute. An Arrow to the Moon. That is the Fairy Loot edition by Emily X.R. Pan. Beach Read by Emily Henry is the only Emily Henry I haven't read yet. A Discovery of Witches, Shadow of Night, and the Book of Life by Deborah Harkness. The Night Circus and The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. Yes, I haven't gotten to those yet. I do feel ashamed. Last Night at the Telegraph Club and House of Salt and Sorrows. And then over here I have As Old as Time, which is a Disney, series that I want to collect. Middle Game by Shauna McGuire, All of Us Villains by Amanda Foody, Courtney Summers' The Project, The Beautiful by Renee Audier, The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, and then Graceling, which is the old cover. And then I also have Check and Mate by Allie Hazelwood and Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. And so that is this section. And then last but not least, I might go through this at a later time, but this is all of my owned books. In fact, I think we're going to do a bookshelf tour part 1 and part 2, and I will go through all of the owned books that I have read. So that is going to be its own separate video, because this video is going to be way too long otherwise. And that is all of the books that I own. That took way longer to film than I expected. That took like 2 hours to film. Oh my gosh, that took forever. But I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if there's any of these books that you want to read soon. Are there any books that I should add to my shelves? I will do part 2 fairly soon, where I walk you through all the books that I currently own. And I didn't even get to my professional development and ones that are in my bedroom, so we'll get to that later. But I have a lot of books. So with that, I'm going to let you go, and I will see you for day 5. Bye!